Today we're going to look at editing pages on brooksideresort.com. After logging in, you're going to be brought to the dashboard. This is what's called the back end of your website. This is the front-facing portion, and this is where all of your changes will be made. Today we're going to make some changes to Cabin 10, quick instructions. Before we do that, I just want to give you a concept on how your site is laid out. First of all, I want you to think of your site in grids or in chunks. It's in building blocks, it's in pieces. Essentially we have a piece here, which is Cabin 10, a title. Here we've got a image gallery. We've got a paragraph at the top here. This is a rectangle. This is another rectangle here with a series of 2 columns with some different content in it, and so on down the page. Here's another chunk. It's actually 3 columns of bullets. We have 2 tabs here, rates and availability, or you can make the reservation inquiry right here. Scrolling down, again, more chunks or rectangles that we'll be able to edit. So we're going back to our dashboard. You can see here on the left-hand side, this is where most of your navigation is for the back end. We're going here to pages, because what you're looking at with Cabin 10 is a page. We're going to just click on the word pages. We're going to look at all pages. We'll scroll down, you'll see names that are very familiar. We're going to look at Cabin 10 here. A variety of options. We're going to click edit. We're going to edit cabin number 10, and you'll start to see this same kind of grid with our Fusion builder. Basically, this is just kind of a WYSIWYG builder. What you see is what you get. You can see here we have the title, Cabin 10. This is a column that's 1 by 1. It's the full width. Down here we have a 3/5 column, which is containing our image carousel, and then we will get a 2/5 column over here showing our cabin description up above here, and then here's our nested column of a half column, a half column. This is what's showing our number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, max sleeping, things of this nature. Amenities, this is that bulleted list. You can see those in that point, at that area, pardon me. Rates and availability, here are these 2 tabs, if you look right above my mouse here, and so on throughout the page. What we're going to do is we're going to take and edit this portion, this paragraph that talks about what Cabin 10 is all about. You can see when I hover over it, I have the option to, I've got element settings. We've got cloning the element if I wanted to have 2 paragraphs of the exact same thing. Here we have the chance to save the element. If I were to make, if I had lots of instances of this particular chunk of paragraph, then I would save it so I could easily pull it back, replicate it. And then we also have delete element. We're going to go here to element settings. Here you see very much like a Microsoft Word. It's what you see is what you get, in the sense that if we want to say right next to the lodge, and we would highlight that text, and we want to boldface it. Let's put some text at the beginning, and let's just going to say, this is a fabulous cabin, 2 exclamation points. So none of these changes have been made until I hit the save button down here. And you can see right above my mouse here that this is a fabulous cabin is in fact inserted. Okay, so we've got this as a setting here, but nothing has been saved yet. We have to make certain we always are hitting this update. We have to tell the computer we're done, and when we hit update, it's actually going to write to the web server. You see it does a little grinding here. It's updating. This is all happening on the server with no special software. Now you can see here it says page updated, and we can go ahead and view this page. I'm going to view it on this tab here. I'm going to refresh my browser. And let me see, refresh is right here. And this page will redraw, and you can see our changes made here where it says, this is a fabulous cabin. Now, I do notice that this text looks a little bit different. We wanted this boldface. It is slightly bolder. The way the formatting is set up for this particular typeface, there's not much bolding that's happening, but that change did occur. So let's go ahead and make one more change. We're going back to edit the page. We're going to scroll down to this area that has lots of bulleted items. You can see here checklists. So again, we've got similar kinds of things. We're going to edit this far element. We could clone it, save it, or delete it. We're going to go ahead and see what this checklist looks like. It's a checklist. list item 1, list item 2, list item 3. We can add a list item. There are icons that we can add colors, things of this nature. In general, there are a ton of settings, but in general, you want to have a chance to simply, if you can, you want to duplicate items. So let's do that. We'll come here and see where it says clone item. When I hover over it, let's clone. We'll make a fourth item for this column. So now we've got a fourth item. We're going to edit this fourth item. If we were to scroll through here, we can search for various icons. A lot of them you'll recognize. I think what we'll find is that, I'm trying to think, I think it was just a plain old check mark and a circle. Let me see if we can find, that should have been copied over. We're just going to trust that it was copied over. I don't want to dig through these little icons. Here you can see the word microwave is appearing as your list item content. Let's say we're going to go with, for the amenity for this cabin, we're going to say, let's say cheese slicer. This cabin comes with a cheese slicer. Again, we're in a window here. We want to make sure we save this. Takes us back here. This is our fourth amenity. It's a cheese slicer. We have to save it. But notice the colors all will stay the same. Now we've got dots here. But again, I still need to hit update. You always have to hit update every time. Clicking update, going to view the page. It's working on it. It's working on it. It's right into the server. Now we can view the page. We're going to go here. We're going to refresh this page and look to see what our changes are. And there's our cheese slicer right there. That concludes this lesson.